And you are listening to the Beyond the Goal podcast with Dan and Steve. After 4 months break, we're finally back. We just tried to record and we ran out of time because we have the free version because we can't make any money off this. So anyway, how are you going, Dan?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. We're a bit poverty, aren't we? We got the free version of Zoom, recording, our podcast on that. Probably a bit of a laggy episode because, I got crappy internet, so I don't want to fork out the big dollars. So it's good, eh? This is top quality listening. But it all just proves to, hit like, subscribe, I don't know, actually make this get a fan base and we'll get some incoming cash and we'll upgrade.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we're back trying to make content so we can make some money. But anyway, we're back.
That's it. We're
back after ages. We are keen to talk about some transfers that have just happened and the World Cup. I'm very keen to talk about that. Let's
definitely keen to talk about some soccer, considering we've got this little 2-month period of no soccer. There's an empty void that I want to fill with soccer.
Exactly. And
let's do it.
We were saying before about La Liga now being on Optus Sport, so that'll be cool. They don't have to pay for all these other streaming services, so pretty keen for that.
Yeah, that's it. We're in Australia, and I'm assuming our audience, we might have a heavy Australia audience, or if we have any audience at all. But I think, would we be keen on, I reckon just on the streaming services, I'd be keen if just you had Optus Sports. Back in the day, had Premier League and Champions League, and they're the two main things I'm into. I want to watch more La Liga. I'm excited it's on Optus Sport now. But if we had a platform that had, EPL, Champions League, La Liga, it also had the cups. So for your English fans, which I think in Australia, I think the English football, along with the Champions League and stuff, but in the domestic leagues is your big one. Get the FA Cup, even try to get things like the Carabao Cup, have it all in the one, even if it was, it's going to be a lot dearer than even if it was $300 a year subscription or, something like a $25, $30 subscription a month. I'd pay that happily rather than having to have Optus Sport to watch my EPL and now La Liga, which it's increased in price. And then, you've got to have Stan Sport to pick up the Champions League, which means you've got to actually have Stan plus then pay your add-on. Then to watch my FA Cup, I had to get KO for those little bits. Then when I watched Carabao Cup, I had to get some weird free trials. And, it's too confusing. It's too hard. I want soccer in one spot.
Oh, exactly. I think, beIN Sport is pretty good. It's got Serie A, Liga and La Liga and Bundesliga, and then a random.
But the quality's crap.
Yeah, it's not that great. That's
I went on there to watch the Carabao Cup semi-final, and it was after the game had happened. Actually, it was after the game should have finished, but we were in the penalty shootout. It was the final, with Liverpool and Chelsea. And I opened it up and it, had asked you, do you want to play live or do you want to start from beginning? And I hit start from beginning, and it did a weird little lagging 2 seconds where it went to the live feed and then back to the start. So I went to a live feed of the penalty shootout. So then the whole game, I was like, I don't think they're going to take that chance because, I know where it goes. And I saw the score was 0-0. And anyways, let's get into
this happened a few weeks
ago. Stuff then, hey?
This happened a few weeks ago, but the Haaland transfer from Dortmund to Manchester City, I think that's an insane move for them. He was cheap. And you know what's funny? He was actually a Manchester City fan growing up, which...
Well, his dad played
because of his dad. But it's just weird because because they had that big investment years ago. It started 2010, whatever. I don't know when it was, but their history. It feels like they're completely different clubs from then on. You know what I mean? From the back in the day. So it's weird seeing that he was a fan of Man City of all clubs. But yeah, what do you think about that?
It's nice though. It's nice.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, well, with what you were talking about initially, when you see someone like Haaland go there, you're like, of course, because you're a talent. Haaland's a talent, but of course he picks the club that's you're most likely to win, and they've got the money, and that's how it goes. But it's not just like that, and it's so nice because even just touching slightly just off Haaland, but in Man City, sometimes when you look around the crowds at games when they do pans of the crowd, and you see fans celebrating, and there's sometimes this 80-year-old lady celebrating with her 80-year-old husband wearing the Man City stuff. And some maybe they just jumped on the Man City bandwagon when they got the money. But let's assume that they've been there through all the hard times in the history. It's cool. You're happy for them. This club's got money now and they're winning. And unfortunately, money's what you need to win. But yeah, like I just hate Man City so much because all these people are like die-hard Man City fans just because they've got money and win stuff. Same people that were probably Man United fans 10 years ago. But Haaland, I actually think it's a bad transfer for him. I don't see it. I actually think Pep's at the end of like he's coming off the big peak there. He doesn't just seem like the right fit. And like I understand they want an actual striker, and that's something that they've been criticised for. Well, they still won the league without one this year, and they won sort of last year. I know Aguero was still there like 2 seasons ago. But I feel like they need like a hold-up player, like a sort of someone sort of like a traditional 9. If they're going to go for it, needs to be a traditional 9. I don't think like another young gun, fast. Like he's a really good striker.
He's like he's for a counter-attacking system though. Like you know what I mean?
And
like,
they don't play that.
No, exactly. So
Foden through the middle. He's not a striker, but him through the middle, they make it look like it works. It's perfect. And he's not a striker, but him playing in the 9's position is gold.
Yeah, well, that's like back when Pep had that Barcelona team, the 4 years, he experimented so much. You know, he had like Thierry Henry and Samuel Eto'o and Messi and everything. And Messi would be like as like that sort of like that false 9. And then Eto'o and, you know, Henry were like up like slightly further. I don't know. He experiments a lot. Sometimes his experiments fail. Like he had Ibrahimovic for that 1 year, and that was the worst transfer in the history of like one of the worst transfers ever. Ibrahimovic to Barca because he lasted 1 season and they had a falling out. But I don't know. Haaland, it's an interesting transfer. I think it's good that he's going to be tested in the EPL, which will be cool to see
league in the world
if he can. Well, to see if he can, you know, like that whole Bundesliga tax thing. You know, they've got great attacking talent in that league, but it's going to be cool to see him come up against tougher defenses and see what happens there, and if he actually scores that many goals.
And it's interesting as well with Haaland. I'm just sort of having a thought now when you say about like Pep using Messi as the sort of false 9, and he's sort of playing out to Henry and to Eto'o, which we're not, because actually sometimes when I was sort of younger and hadn't watched enough soccer and I started looking at things and understanding, you know, who some of these players were, and it was probably around the time just after Henry and Eto'o were like sort of big there at Barca. But I was watching stuff from back in the day, and I couldn't understand how do you have Eto'o and Henry and Messi all in this team, but it makes sense if Messi's sort of not pushing and making the runs, and he's holding and distributing, it works. And that's sort of, I guess, actually now I think about it, like I remember one game that Chelsea played against Man City, and I've talked about this before in the pod, and De Bruyne was in the 9 position. I'm like, this is going to be good. And it worked so well. And he was distributing out to Sterling. And I don't know if it was Mahrez on the other side or something like that. So in saying that, I guess I've been sort of doubting this Haaland transfer to City because I'm thinking of Haaland playing through the middle because they want that striker. But there's nothing to say they'll do that. Maybe Haaland's going to play sort of at a wider position, and maybe you're still going to have Foden or or De Bruyne. And it makes sense too because Gabriel Jesus is all but leaving. It's all but confirmed he's leaving, going to Arsenal, and he plays wide. There's an empty slot. Rian, I can't say his first name, sorry, Sterling. You might want to fit in there. I'm bad at the pronunciation. Holding good with that. He's leaving the club. It's rumoured to come to Chelsea, and he plays sort of in between the wide position because he can play on the wing, but he also plays the false 9 spot. So maybe Haaland's actually, and I couldn't understand why they're so willing to let Sterling go. Like Sterling, from what the rumours are, there's a lot of sort of rumours, is that Sterling's come to Pep and sort of said, I don't want to be here as such. And from everything I've heard from some other podcasters and some other articles, Pep's like, if Kevin De Bruyne come to him, and Kevin De Bruyne is probably the focal point of City, if he come and said, I don't want to be here, he'd be like, that's sad. I really, you're my plans, but I'm not keeping a player. He never wants to keep a player that doesn't want to be there. So maybe that's why they've been so chill to let Sterling go, because maybe Haaland's going to replace somewhat that wide player, and he's also going to fill in the middle player depending. That actually could work. That could be all right. Yeah,
no, it'll be cool to see. I want to see him in the Premier League, and we'll see what happens. But on the other side of Manchester, it just broke, I think it was today or yesterday, about Ronaldo wanting to leave Manchester United, which is honestly fair enough. Like one of the best Champions League players ever. His current team, United, are not going to be in the UCL next season. Wait, and what? I think they were in Europa League spot, aren't they? So they're confirmed to be in the Europa League. So you can't really have Ronaldo. He's still and still playing well, playing in the Europa League. He's going to be in the Champions League. But it's it's interesting because where would he go? Because I personally would love to see him at PSG. You know, with
To
Messi,
PSG
Messi as well.
to wreck
Finally,
what's left of his career.
finally link up together. That would be amazing. What do you think?
Well, it's funny the link up play you say because there's I think I'm starting to sense who's going to be like who he's going to be linking up with, but I'll get to that. But it's true, it's broken recently that he's potentially asked to leave, put in a transfer request, and I think it's no surprise for him because I was thinking it, and people have been talking about this is potentially going to happen because he's 37 now, which is crazy. A lot of people at 37 have retired or they're playing somewhere chill, other than Thiago Silva. Shout out to him. He's a gun still. But it's like he's played 17 straight seasons in the Champions League. It would be sad if the reason that he's not in the Champions League now is because he's at a club like Manchester United that didn't qualify. Like when he doesn't, this first season he's not in the Champions League, it should be because he went back home to Sporting or because he's moved to the MLS or something like that. Yeah. So I saw it coming. And I guess you could say that there's potentially room at PSG for him. I know he sort of plays more through the middle now.
Yeah.
But I think he could still be effective in that slow, pathetic league out wide. And there's going to be potentially room because Di Maria's all but confirmed he's leaving, I'm pretty sure. And Neymar it doesn't look like he's going to be part of the team anymore there. He's, it's not been a secret that he's not happy there.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be there.
No.
So why would you?
And he wasn't, I don't know if you saw the release of the new jerseys that they had, and he was nowhere in any of the photo shoots. Did you see that?
Yeah. It was Messi and Mbappe, and that's interesting. But
where's he been linked to? Neymar to Chelsea, and Ronaldo's been linked to Chelsea. So and they've always wanted to link up. So maybe you won't get your Messi Ronaldo link up at PSG, but maybe Neymar Ronaldo link up at Bridge.
Maybe, I don't know. Like I don't think Ronaldo's transfer fee would be super high just because he's of his age now. Like he's 37 years old. You can't transfer a player for 100 million. Oh, actually, no, to be fair.
Well, he was only 30 last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Like 37, 36.
Yeah. So would he actually fit at Chelsea? Because they got to sort of I don't know, like because of the way he plays now, he sits around the box a lot. Like is that what they're looking for? Because they had Lukaku, that didn't really work. What are they going to do with the striker situation with him?
So Chelsea, there's a lot going on. Like I think Chelsea's one of the most active active in the transfer window this year. So Lukaku has been confirmed. He's back at Inter Milan on a loan.
Yeah.
It's a loan that has no commitment to buy after. And it's been done nice and quick. The new ownership, Todd Bowley's got in. I think they've prioritised this is the main thing. Get this sorted. It's still bad for the club. They paid so much money for him, hundreds of millions, and it's like a $10 million loan. And Chelsea don't have to pay any of his wages during the loan because he's agreed to take a significant wage cut at Inter. And it's disgusting. We might touch on that a bit later because it's absolutely, there's a lot of wrong things with it. So he's out. So we've still got the same issue that we had at the start of last season. We need that sort of focal striker to score. But yeah, it didn't work because he's that sort of, the reason Lukaku didn't work isn't because you think of him as like lethargic, sort of slow standing there. I think that's what you might think of him as, but he's actually the way he likes to play is just on the counter. He wants that fast, he gets the ball in the switch of, possession and the quick little things. And that's not how Chelsea played. Chelsea under Tuchel played this very slow. It can be sometimes boring. I guess if you're not a Chelsea fan, I think you'd find it very boring to watch. Sometimes they really try to consume all the possession, and we make a lot of opportunities through holding the ball, and you sort of just work your way till it's right. And the reason Lukaku didn't work is then he was looking for these opportunities. He's sort of standing there in the box, and you're waiting, and he's trying to make these little movements, and it wasn't working. He's quick on those quick exchanges where you just take it and go. And I think so. We still need someone who can convert chances because we never, like Chelsea, that's where we make so many chances and hardly score. And in the season before last, we won the Champions League purely because no one could score against us, but that couldn't continue. So we needed goals. We didn't get it. So I think even though he's 37, if he comes in, maybe he takes that middle spot. He's extremely good at converting chances. He's got experience. He might be able to help our forwards learn how to finish. And with potentially, the only thing I don't know is because there's rumoured Sterling coming in, light rumours about Neymar. I don't know if that will happen. Dembele was lightly rumoured. There's heavy rumours on Rafinha already agreeing to personal terms as well as Leeds being happy. However, potential links to Barcelona. So I just don't know where it would fit because Lukaku is going out. Ziyech, I think, is going to AC Milan. But then we've still got Timo Werner, still got Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic, Havertz. There's all these forwards still we have to sort out.
Yeah.
Before we can buy all these others.
No, for sure. Well, okay. Well, what do you think it would look like then if he actually went to? Because there are only a handful of teams that would probably go for him as well, and people have been rumoring Bayern. I can't really see Bayern doing it. They're not really a team that does that sort of thing. They usually like to get younger guys. They don't really do that sort of thing. Anyway, but PSG, I could kind of see that just because of how they did last transfer window, how insane that was. Like with Ramos, Hakimi, Messi. I mean, I think it'd be pretty sick to see them finally play together. What do you think? Would the coach Mbappe let Ronaldo join, or what do you think?
Well, he's a huge fanboy, isn't he? He's
a
huge Ronaldo fanboy. So I don't know, he'd be keen for it. I don't see it happening though, for a couple of reasons. I don't think it's the sort of vibe of Ronaldo at this point. I think if he goes there, that ends his European, like that's it for in the big top flanks of Europe.
Yeah.
Because just what it did to Messi and the change that of pace, I guess. But I think as well,
there will be a new coach. I think Pochettino is getting fired. Like he's out, isn't he? Is he already out?
Yeah, he's Gonski.
He's already out. I think the old Lille coach is now is going to be the PSG coach. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought Mbappe would just take that up too.
Yeah, they've given him way too much power. But like the way they would structure that team would be pretty interesting because you got Ronaldo like sitting up top. Then you probably use Mbappe up the like cutting in a lot as a winger like he does, and then Messi sort of creating behind. That would be pretty insane, like for fanboys of both of those, like Messi and Ronaldo, to just see them play.
It wouldn't work though. I don't think.
I don't
There's
think
too many egos.
Yeah. But I think like because they're coming to the end of their careers, they would work best. They would work okay together. I think they could put their egos aside for the sake of winning something together or playing together or whatever. But there aren't many teams that will actually go after Ronaldo, I think, just because of how much you have to sort of change the team structure up front. And because he's 37 years old as well. But
not many teams can afford his wages, to be honest.
Yeah, he'd be on a lot. So other transfers, Lewandowski's sort of he wants to come to Barca.
I don't think he's going.
But I think he will end up like because he wants to go so bad, he just wants to leave Bayern. He's sort of fractured that relationship by coming out and saying how much he doesn't want to be there. And I think he's just going to hold out, like not go to trainings and do all that because he's at no risk of not making that Poland team because he's always the first name on that team sheet every time. But I don't know. Barca somehow, I think, with a Rafinha offer, have sort of, they're putting the installments and are sort of getting something together. Like Chelsea offered the 60 straight away, which I would have, if I was Leeds, I would have taken that. But at the same time,
they did accept.
Yeah.
They've still accepted. They're halting him going to Barca, I think.
Yeah, at the same time, because Rafinha really wants to go to Barca. Like he's still trying to force a move there. And what they're doing is just, putting these little installments. So I don't know, for Leeds, I would want him out of the league. If I was managing a situation like that, we had a good player, I'd want to sell him for as much as I could, but also get him out of the league so I don't have to play him. But Rafinha's not, I don't think he's not like a like a Hazard or a Messi, whatever, that he's really going to affect your team when you play him as that often. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's an interesting move and Dembele is playing into that as well. There's a situation where Rafinha and Dembele could be at Barca and Chelsea don't get one of those guys and they get Sterling instead. You know what I mean? Like there's so much going on.
I think Sterling's additional, to be honest, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't think Barca will have Rafinha and Dembele. I don't think Barcelona's I don't think they have their finances sorted yet. quite yet. Apparently they needed to raise 200 million or something to even, and like that's not even including 200 million we want to spend, so whatever we sell bringing in, like I think they're going to sell Frankie de Jong, and that will generate some cash. However, I think they're still in that much debt and trouble, like they're still halted, because I think that's what's holding up Rafinha. Barcelona have offered him significantly less wages than Chelsea have, which is funny because the wages that we've offered to Rafinha is still significantly less than like a Ruben Loftus-Cheek and a Callum Hudson-Odoi, who haven't really made their name as such yet. But they're significantly higher than what Leeds have. Barcelona can't match that yet, and Leeds, I think, are still significantly more happy with the Chelsea offer, which I think Arsenal were reported because they were pretty confident they were going to sign him. They offered around 40 to Leeds. Chelsea swooped in last minute. Like I didn't even I had no idea this was coming, and a lot of Chelsea fans I think were taken by surprise. They swooped in with the 60, 65. Yeah. Barcelona, I don't think can even. I think from what I'm hearing, they're trying to offer something around that initial 40, 45 that Arsenal were going for.
Yeah.
However, I don't think it's confirmed that they can even do it yet. And I think Leeds.
With that, they've just activated some economic levers. They've sold like some sort of TV rights deal that'll bring them in cash like that. But at the same time, I think it's a bit of a waste to splash it all on Rafinha, even though it isn't.
Rafinha.
Yeah, I'd rather that go to.
I don't know enough about him, but yeah.
He's good, but he's not like game changing yet.
He's not $60 million worth of good either. Like this whole trend, like everything's just getting too fluctuated. And his head would be definitely getting fluctuated.
Yeah, but he really wants to make it into that Brazil team for the World Cup. While we're on the subject of the World Cup, you've seen the groups as well that that came out ages ago, but Australia just made it in the other week, which was great. A penalty shootout against Peru. So their group is pretty much almost the same as it was in 2018. But what are your initial thoughts of the draw?
Well, like a scary group for Australia, but I'm also happy because going off history, France is going to get knocked out. So I mean, we're already going to beat them. So like pretty all right draw. Like I'm just having a flick through now. I guess because it's still a little while away, I haven't focused on it too much. Group E is looking like it could be all right. Like you've got Spain, Costa Rica.
Why don't we just go through every group and then see rank them where they'll come, because that might be cool.
Yeah, that could be cool. Yeah, and talk about our feelings on it.
Yeah. So, Group A: Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, Netherlands. Now, you'd probably be, keen to say Netherlands, Senegal, Ecuador, Qatar, but because it's in Qatar, I can see a bit of bribery happening and forcing their way to the next round. What do you reckon?
I don't know. I don't want to come out and say bribery or something like that.
I mean, that's how they get the World Cup, so it's not too far from it.
They injected a lot of money apparently into their team, and there was all those rumors like 4 years ago that I think it was like 3 years ago when Zinedine Zidane stepped down as manager of Real Madrid. There was rumors that they were offering something ridiculous for him, like something like $20 million a year to coach Qatar or something like. And I don't know. We saw what Russia did in the last World Cup. They were hosts, and they actually progressed so well. So I mean, I don't know.
Russia's players were actually quite decent. I can't name a single player from Qatar. There might be a couple in like the top flight leagues, but the Russians actually had quite a few good players.
Okay. I think Ecuador, I don't know much about, but Senegal, I reckon, is going to be strong because you got Edouard Mendy, the world's best goalkeeper, in there, and you've got Sadio Mane, and I mean they both absolutely played like beasts at the AFCONs, and I don't know too much about other players in the team. But the whole team looks good. They look like a tight unit. Yeah, that's going to be good. Netherlands have good defenders. I don't know much about too much else in their team. You've got Memphis, but he's out of form.
The thing is, Memphis steps up for the Dutch national team, but they don't really have that top play like Ian Robben or Van Persie like they used to. Like that, those older Netherlands teams are great because they had Wesley Sneijder. They had so many cool players to watch. But so I think I think Netherlands, then Senegal, and then maybe Ecuador and Qatar, but we'll see what
But
happens.
with your Memphis, your boy Memphis, over there at Barca, I don't know if you're a fanboy or not. Probably not because he hardly plays. But
Right.
like with the transfer stuff we were talking about, like, is he gonna try to get out of Barca? Because I think it's clear. I don't know enough about it, but I think it's quite clear that he's not part of the
Hmm.
main plans there at Barcelona. Like you've got Aubameyang, who I think is going to become, if you do get like a Lewandowski, Aubameyang's either going to play wide or become like a second option striker. And you're looking at so much different options. And with the Rafinha thing we were talking about, I think it's either going to be, if you get Rafinha, Dembele goes, because they've offered Dembele a contract, but not what he's expecting. Because he's like, you've paid all this money for him, you see what you do. If you don't get Rafinha, I think Xavi keeps Dembele.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, all these spots are starting to fill up. And I think there's the guy like Barcelona bought from City a few years ago. Like all these spots are filling up. Where does it fit for Memphis? Is he going to want to go somewhere where he gets game time before the World Cup?
He really fits Xavi's long-term plans. I think that was just because he was brought in by Koeman, the old coach. But he's usually good for the Netherlands. So, but anyway, Group B. So you got England,
This is a good group.
USA, Wales. When Wales made it in, that was cool because that made it a really, really strong group. I think I kind of feel like England and Wales.
We'll start with Wales then. Start with them.
Well, yeah, because Gareth Bale, like, he's crazy good for Wales. I think they can push England.
I don't think
the game. I think they can.
I was going to say it'll be England that's pushed. I don't think it'll be America.
I think America will come third in that group. I don't think they're going to make it out of the group.
Yeah, I actually think if you wanted to go off, like, if you're going to gamble on it, I don't think you can say England. Like, you couldn't gamble on England not making it. So let's take England as a granted. I think USA pushes through. I'd love to see Wales push through, but not against United States. Like, so Wales has probably some good players and all that. I don't know enough about them. I know obviously Gareth Bale, and I don't care what people say about Gareth Bale, and like I don't care what his FIFA ratings are now. Gareth Bale's a beast. The only reason he hasn't been playing is because of politics and probably bad relationship between him and Zinedine Zidane, and then the Real Madrid fans and all that. Like, he's an absolute gun. And we've seen what he did in that, to qualify for him and in some different games for them, like for Wales, that is. The only thing I don't know now of him, he's going to get big game time in the MLS, sorry, but the quality's not going to be there. I think he needed to make a move even to like a lower team in the EPL. He needed to make a move in somewhere else in the Liga or Germany.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to be able to knock off the USA team. Like, Christian Pulisic hasn't been performing for Chelsea, but when he becomes Captain America over there for the national team, like, he destroys. He's a gun.
Yeah.
And there's like so many of the players in that team are in Europe and in the big teams in Europe. So I mean, it's going to be hard to try to say that they're not going to do well. Like how?
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, well, so Group C, you got Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, Poland. I think Argentina first.
Can we just backtrack on?
Yeah.
Backtrack on England. I just want to know what your thoughts are and what's the sort of, who makes the team, what's the sort of lineup, because there's so much English talent. Sorry to cut that in. I just think it's an important thing to get your view.
The England squad. I mean, the last couple of tournaments they've made it to the top four, and they made it to the last, the Euro final. So they've got a lot of talent on that team. But what do you mean, like specific players making it, or?
Like roughly speaking, who's going to be your main like sort of players in there? Let's like example, there's Reece James and Trenny for the back. You've also got Walker and Chile. You've also got Tammy for, like, to say striker. You got Tammy, Kane, and those options. Then like in midfield, you've got Foden and Mount both going for that position. You got Sterling and I don't know, so many players trying to go for those spots. Who is that going to be their downfall? That might hurt them. It
might be like the lack of consistency and stuff. But we've only got 10 minutes because of this stream. I've just
true.
I'd love to get more into it, but we'll get through the rest. I mean, quickly.
I'll let you push on.
Quickly though, who do you think? Like, what do you reckon that will be?
Oh, I think Kane up front.
Yeah.
I reckon the back, James is going to come into the centre backs. Trenty out wide. Trendy. I don't know why I'm calling him that. Trent Alexander. Yeah, I don't know. I think Mount's going to get pushed out of the team by Foden. Yeah. Let's move on. Yeah, sorry, man. I was just curious.
So next is Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, Poland. I think
Argentina get knocked out for sure.
Argentina topped that group, but I think Poland, Lewandowski makes the difference between Mexico and Poland because Mexico haven't actually been playing that well. So I think it's Argentina, Poland, Mexico, Saudi Arabia. What about you?
Saudi Arabia will be hard to knock over, but I think you're going to be. I think it's going to be really tight between Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland. I think Mexico might not win a game; they might draw one. But I think Saudi Arabia and Poland, there's going to be some draws in there. I reckon they're going to put up hard games for Argentina too. But they'll get the job done, Argentina.
Okay, let's go Group D. So the curse, I think, is still real. However, that France team is so stacked. Like, it's just a crazy team. We've got Mbappe. They're currently the world champions, obviously. But Italy got knocked out that next World Cup, but they had older players. Germany, when they got knocked out, they
had a good team.
They had a good team. They had a really good team. But they just
an amazing team.
They lost to Mexico and was it South Korea they drew with or lost to? I can't remember.
I think South Korea beat them.
Was it Japan?
They beat them 2-0.
No, it was
South Korea beat them because they were losing 1-0 and they're all pushing, and then a ball got popped over the top, and then I think it was like Sun ran through and scored it or something like. It was insane. Yeah.
And that Spain team, they won the World Cup 2010, 2014. I think they were in between like the old and the new generation, and they were in that really hard group with Netherlands and Chile, and Australia actually. They were in that group. Anyway,
I think France is not going to be as stacked as you think though, because Mbappe is going to be amazing. Benzema's still got his issues with other players in the team, and other players seem to have an issue with him, but he's firing. But Pogba's not in form. Kante is getting injured and old, and they're stacked, but I don't think it's going to be as convincing. I reckon Australia beats them.
Okay, well,
I don't actually.
My prediction is just France, Denmark, Australia, Tunisia. I think Australia can beat Tunisia. They're a strong team, but I just that's how I think it'll work out in the end.
Yeah, they need to improve though, because I was so excited they qualified and so happy, and I would have celebrated at any moment they qualify, but we needed to qualify a lot earlier than 100%. Last minute like we did. That's bad.
So Group E's got Spain, Costa Rica, Germany, Japan. I think Luis Enrique being back with Spain, I think they can top that group, and you can't go past Germany not making it. I think this time, I think they're going to definitely push because they hated being knocked out that last World Cup in the group stage. Even though Japan are really good, Costa Rica, they're tough in like tournaments. But I think Spain have a lot of young talent coming through, and then I think they can top that group.
I think, to be honest, I think Germany takes out the group. Germany's a gun team. I know they got a lot of like struggling and young players, but like even Timo, when he puts the German jersey on, he's a gun. So much talent, and I think Japan takes second. To be honest, they're ranked 22nd in the world at the moment. I'm pretty sure.
Interesting.
Oh no, they're not. Sorry, they're ranked 24th. I reckon they take second spot. They're strong. They've got so much fight. Yeah, I reckon they knock them out. They've got so much fight. Spain doesn't have. They've got the skill, but they're young and they're inexperienced, I think, or they're outdated. Like,
well, they're still got like Morata up front sometimes, which I think is
having something, is it?
That's a downfall, I think, because they still use
him. Good.
But anyway, so Group F. This is a tough group actually. Belgium, Canada, Morocco, Croatia. Like Belgium, I think will top it, but I'd love to see Canada make it through. Croatia made it to the final last time, but I think their golden generation is sort of starting to slow down a bit because they're getting older, like Modric and Rakitic. Mandzukic still playing, I think. Perisic,
I think he's retired.
Yeah, well, they got some good players still, but they're a bit past it. I think they're going to get like maybe third in the group. I don't think they're going to be bottom of the group, but they'll still. I think they'll be third.
Canada? And Canada's got like Alphonso Davies and a few other players. I think there's some guys at Barcelona, isn't there, that play like some young guys.
Yeah, like I don't know. I would like Alphonso Davies. I don't think he's going to make the difference because he's good, but he's not that amazing yet.
No,
he plays back. He's not a striker or anything. So it'll be cool to see them play at a World Cup. They haven't been to a World Cup in so long.
Yeah, they'll do well.
Anyway, so Group G is Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, Cameroon. Switzerland are always strong, but I think Brazil will win the group, and Switzerland will come second. What about you?
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
Yeah, I mean Cameroon are always a good team from Africa. I wish there were more teams from Africa qualifying as well, because there's a lot of talent coming out of Africa. They got to be trained up better though. But yeah, I think Brazil, they've got to figure out what they're going to do with like how they're going to use Neymar and these younger, like, because Vinicius is crazy. He's awesome.
Vinicius is the best player in that team at the moment.
Yeah, currently, yeah, for sure. Like they used to rely on Neymar, like 2014 World Cup, that was his team, and he got injured in that semi-final. Was it? No, it was the quarterfinal. And they just were hopeless. Sometimes they just don't pick the best players, Brazil. It's so typical in international football. They obviously you pick the players that'll fit the system best, but Brazil have sometimes just chosen the wrong players for the team. But I think Vinicius will be great. Maybe Rafinha if he's good, but Neymar is going to be in the squad as well, obviously number 10. So
if Neymar makes a move into the Premier League and can reignite his career, he'll lift them.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think Portugal in Group H, they take that out.
Yeah, so Portugal. Well, yeah, so I think Uruguay are past it with some of their older players. You know what I mean? Like they've still had that same core from 2010 or whatever. So it'll be cool to see them play Ghana because of that that game in 2010. That's going to be the best thing to see.
Definitely.
Suarez is playing as well.
Oh no! And just because I think we're starting to run out of time, your prediction. I know you're going to say Argentina, but prediction: who takes it out? Who wins the World Cup? I'm saying Portugal this year. I think it's going to happen for Ronaldo.
It's too early to predict. It's too early. I can't say. But I think Portugal will top that group. They got Fernando Santos as coach. I don't really like him. He was coaching Greece for a while. He's a bit of a bastard. But this is a really tough World Cup to call because there's no there's no team that's just set above everyone else because Italy didn't make it and they won the Euros. And then there's some favorites, but I don't think there's one team yet that's gonna take it out easily. Not easily, but France, obviously one of the better ones. They've got that curse hanging over them. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But in that last group, I think Portugal, Uruguay, and I don't know about Ghana or South Korea. I don't know, third or fourth, but yeah.
I think it's a possibility too that that Argentina end up with Portugal. Like it can flow that they can end up in the actual final. Apparently, how it's split, that they actually can make it.
The internet completely. It would just everything would shut down.
It would. Ronaldo's first win of the World Cup. It would just break the internet.
Whatever. All right, we are running out of time, so we will end this. But thanks for listening.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks for tuning in.
Sweet. See you later.